Ladies, you know, one of the first things a man looks for when he's serious about a woman is respect. Respect is not just a word we throw around. It's the foundation of every solid relationship. Now, ladies, hear me on this. A man doesn't just want love. He doesn't just want affection. He doesn't just want attraction. He wants to know that you respect who he is, what he stands for, and what he's trying to build. Because let me tell you, a man can't truly love a woman who doesn't respect him. He might like you, he might desire you, he might even spend time with you. But if he doesn't feel that deep sense of respect from you, he'll never fully commit. See, men are wired differently than women. Women often lead with love, emotion, and nurturing, while men lead with pride, purpose, and respect. That's why the respect test is so powerful. A man will deliberately put himself in situations, sometimes without even realizing it, where he can see how you respond to him, how you treat his goals, his boundaries, his hustle. Because the truth is, a man wants to know if you're going to honor what he values, not just what you value. Let me give you an example. A man might tell you about his dream, his vision, something he's working on that maybe isn't fully realized yet. He might say, "Baby, one day I'm going to open my own business," or "I'm saving up to buy this house," or "I'm grinding hard so I can set myself up for the future." Now here's the test. Do you laugh at him? Do you downplay it? Do you make him feel small for dreaming big? Or do you stand behind him, even if the dream isn't clear yet, even if it sounds crazy right now? Because trust me, if you mock his ambition, you've already failed that test. Men don't need a critic in their home. They've got the whole world outside already telling them they're not good enough. What a man needs is someone who respects the grind, respects the vision, even when it's not polished yet. Respect also shows up in the little things. It's in how you speak to him when you're upset. It's easy to talk kindly when everything's sweet and smooth, but the real test is when you're angry, when he's frustrated you, when life is stressing you both out. Do you still talk to him with respect, or do you tear him down with your words? Because men never forget disrespect. You can argue, you can disagree, you can even fight about real issues, but once a man feels disrespected, that wound cuts deep. And when a man repeatedly feels that disrespect, I don't care how much he loves you, his heart will start to shut down. He'll pull away because no man can thrive in a place where he feels belittled. Another way men test for respect is through boundaries. Every man has certain lines he doesn't want crossed. Maybe it's how he handles his work. Maybe it's how he deals with his family. Maybe it's personal space. Now, when a man sets that boundary, even if you don't fully understand it, do you push against it? Do you try to control him? Do you dismiss it? Or do you honor it? Because here's the truth. When you respect his boundaries, you're telling him, "I see you, I hear you, I value what matters to you." And that builds trust. But if you trample over those lines, he's going to feel like you don't really value him as a man. Let's be real here. Men are constantly under pressure to provide, to protect, to prove themselves. Society has expectations on a man's shoulders every single day. So when he comes home, when he comes to you, he's hoping he can take off that armor and feel safe, feel respected. If instead he feels like home is just another battlefield, that relationship will not last. Respect is his peace, and without it, he won't invest himself. I've seen so many women lose good men, not because they weren't beautiful, not because they weren't loving, but because they didn't respect the man for who he was. They compared him to other men. They put down his effort. They minimize his contribution. Let me tell you something, nothing crushes a man faster than being compared to someone else. When you say, "Why can't you be more like him?" Or, so's man does this, you're not motivating him, you're cutting him down. That's disrespect, and that's how you fail the test. A man doesn't want to compete with somebody else in his own home. He wants to know that in your eyes, he is enough, he is capable, and he is worthy. Respect also means acknowledging the effort, not just the results. Maybe he hasn't made it yet. Maybe he's still climbing. Maybe he's not where you think he should be. But if he's trying, if he's putting in the work, if he's showing up every day to push forward, you better honor that. Because effort means everything to a man. When you see his grind and you acknowledge it, that fuels him. That makes him want to do even more, not just for himself, but for you too. A respected man becomes a motivated man, and a motivated man will move mountains for the woman who believes in him. Now, don't confuse respect with blind obedience. Respect doesn't mean you can't have opinions. It doesn't mean you can't challenge him. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything he says. What it does mean is you disagree without demeaning, you challenge without belittling, you correct without crushing his spirit. That balance is everything. When a man sees that you can hold your ground while still honoring him, that's when he realizes, this is the woman I can build with. Ladies, let me give it to you. Straight men don't always say it, but every serious man is silently asking, do you respect me? And he's watching closely for the answer. He's watching when you're with your friends, when you're with his family, when you're in public. Do you honor him with your words and actions, or do you take shots at him? Roll your eyes, cut him down in front of others. You may think it's harmless, but he's recording that. And let me tell you, respect in private matters, but respect in public, that's next level. A man wants to know that no matter who's around, his woman has his back. When he feels that, when he knows you honor him in every setting, you pass that respect test with flying colors. And here's the thing, when you pass this test, when you show him consistent respect, you awaken something powerful in him. He becomes more generous, more protective, more loving. Because men are reciprocal creatures. They respond to the energy they receive. If you give him respect, he will give you love. If you strip him of respect, he will withdraw love. It's really that simple. That's why this test is so critical. So understand this. Respect is not optional for a man. It's essential. It's not just what he wants. It's what he needs to feel like a man. And when you give it authentically, not out of fear, not out of obligation, but because you genuinely see his value, you position yourself as the woman he can't let go of. Respect is the silent glue that holds everything together. Without it, love fades. With it, love grows deeper every single day. Let me tell you something that a lot of women don't realize about men. When a man is serious about you, when he sees potential in you, he's going to test your loyalty. Now, I don't mean he's going to play childish games, set up fake scenarios, or trap you. What I mean is, life itself will create moments where he steps back just enough to see if you are really down for him. A man needs to know if you're with him only for the sunshine or if you're going to stand by him when the storm comes. Because life is not a straight path of blessings and success. There are struggles, there are setbacks, there are moments when things don't look good. And trust me, the wrong woman disappears when the struggle shows up. But the right woman, she locks in tighter. That's the loyalty test every real man is watching for. You see, ladies, men are not blind to the fact that many people only want to be around them when it's convenient. You can have friends, you can have associates, you can have people who clap for you when you're winning. But the moment you stumble, the moment you don't have the money, the moment you're not shining, watch how quickly people vanish. A man knows that. So when he's choosing his partner, the woman who might be the mother of his kids, the woman who might be his lifelong companion, he has to make sure she's not one of those people who only sticks around when it's easy. He's looking for someone who can stay steady when the pressure comes. Let me break it down for you. A man may deliberately let you see his vulnerable side. He may open up about a failure, a mistake, or something he's struggling with financially, emotionally, or spiritually. And in that moment, he's watching your reaction. Do you look at him like he's less of a man? Do you criticize him for not being perfect? Or do you listen, encourage, and remind him of his worth? Because that's the loyalty test. Men aren't always going to come out and say, I need you to prove your loyalty. But their actions, their silence, their setbacks, they're all ways to see if you're real or if you're temporary. And here's the thing about loyalty, it's not loud. It doesn't mean posting him on social media every day. It doesn't mean shouting from the rooftops that you're his girl. Loyalty is quiet, consistent, steady presence. It's the way you show up when he needs you the most. It's when his back is against the wall and he looks around, and there you are, not nagging, not tearing him down, but reminding him that he's not alone in the fight. That's what men remember. I've seen it over and over again. A man can go through financial struggles, career setbacks, family drama, and when he gets back on his feet, the woman who stood by him through that, she becomes priceless to him. She becomes untouchable in his heart. He will never forget the loyalty she showed when he had nothing, because that told him she was there for him, not just for what he could give her. That's why so many men, when they finally succeed, when they finally reach the top, they hold on to the woman who believed in them before the success came, because she passed the loyalty test. Now let's flip it. If during his low points you check out, you get impatient, you complain, you start looking around for someone who has it better, you just failed the test. And trust me, once a man sees that, there's no going back, because in his mind, you've shown him that when he really needs you, you're not dependable. And men want a partner who they can trust in their weakest moment. Loyalty is about proving, not just saying, I'm here. Some of y'all might not even notice when this test is happening. He might stop calling as much for a while, just to see if you'll start chasing other men's attention. He might have less money 1 month and watch if you still ride with him, still show up, still act the same. He might reveal some of his scars from the past, his mistakes, or even his fears, just to see if you use it against him or if you hold it in confidence. Every one of those is a test of loyalty, because men know it's easy to love them at their best. The real question is, can you love them at their worst? And let me tell you, and men don't need perfection from a woman. They don't expect you to have all the answers, all the money, or all the solutions. But what they need to know is that you won't abandon them when they're climbing. Every man is on a journey to become the man he's meant to be. And that journey is messy. It takes time, it takes growth, it takes mistakes. A loyal woman becomes his anchor in that process. She makes him feel like he can try, fail, get back up, and keep moving, because she's there to remind him of his worth. Ladies, you have to understand something about men. Their ego is fragile. Not fragile in a weak sense, but fragile in a sense that it matters how you treat them when they're low. A man can get rejected by the world and still fight back. But if the woman he loves rejects him when he's down, that crushes him in a way that's almost impossible to recover from. But the flip side is also true. If the woman he loves supports him when he's down, that lifts him in a way nothing else can. That's why loyalty is not just a test. It's the deciding factor of whether a man fully gives his heart or not. Don't get it twisted. Loyalty is not just about being physically faithful, though of course that's important. Loyalty is also about your energy, your words, your attitude. Do you stay emotionally loyal when he's not around, or do you let others sway your mind? Do you speak life into him when he doubts himself, or do you pile on more negativity? Do you keep his secrets safe, or do you expose his vulnerabilities to others? That's loyalty. And every man who's serious about you is paying attention. Think about it this way. A man knows that life is going to throw punches. He's going to lose sometimes. He's going to get discouraged sometimes. He's going to question his own ability sometimes. And in those moments, the only thing that keeps him going might be the loyalty of the woman standing next to him. If she's solid, if she's consistent, if she's unwavering, then no storm can break him. But if she's shaky, if she wavers, if she jumps ship at the first sign of trouble, then she was never really his in the first place. That's why men test loyalty. Because when they finally commit, they want to know they're giving everything to a woman who can hold them down through anything. Not just for the good days, not just for the fancy dinners and the vacations, but for the nights when the bills are tight, when the mood is heavy, when the dreams feel far away. That's when loyalty matters most. And that's what separates a temporary fling from a lifelong partner. Patience. That right there is one of the biggest tests men put women through when they're serious about finding the right one. See, ladies, you might not realize it, but men move differently when it comes to relationships. Women often know what they want early, but men take time. Not because they don't feel anything for you, not because they don't like you, but because commitment is heavy to us. A man understands that once he says, this is my woman, this is my wife to be, he's locking in his future, he's setting the standard, he's taking on the responsibility of providing, protecting, and building with you. And because of that weight, he doesn't rush it. So one of the ways a man tests a woman is by seeing how patient she can be with him during that process. Now let me break it down. When a man is really considering a woman, he's thinking about everything. Her character, her loyalty, her respect, her values. He's not just looking at beauty. He's looking at who she is when the makeup comes off, when the money isn't flowing, when life gets real. And all of that takes time to figure out. So he slows things down, not because he's confused, but because he wants to be sure. And during that waiting period, he's watching how you act. Do you pressure him? Do you nag him with questions like, where is this going? When are we getting married? Why haven't you committed yet? Or do you allow the relationship to breathe, to grow naturally, to unfold? That's the patience test. Because here's the truth, a man who feels rushed will retreat. The more you pressure him, the more he'll back up. Not because he doesn't like you, but because pressure makes him feel like you're more concerned about a title than about truly connecting with him. Men want to feel chosen, not forced. And patience proves to him that you're there because you want him, not just because you want the position of being with somebody. But don't get me wrong. Patience doesn't mean you sit around for years letting somebody waste your time. A real man who's serious about you is not going to leave you hanging with no direction. What he will do, though, is take his time to make sure he can step into the role of being your man fully, without hesitation. Patience is about understanding that process and not trying to rush it. It's about showing him that you're willing to grow with him, instead of trying to demand instant results. Men test patience in subtle ways. He might delay talking about marriage for a while, just to see how you handle it. He might focus on building his career before making big relationship moves, to see if you support him during the grind or if you start complaining about being tired of waiting. He might set boundaries in the relationship and watch if you respect them or if you constantly push against them out of impatience. Every one of those moments tells him something about you. And here's the part a lot of women don't realize: patience is not just about time, it's about attitude. Because you can wait with bitterness or you can wait with grace. A woman who constantly reminds a man of how long she's been waiting, how tired she is, how unfair it feels, that's not real patience. That's pressure disguised as loyalty. Real patience is when you stay present, when you enjoy the journey, when you let love grow without constantly trying to measure the distance. That's what a man notices. You see, men are dreamers. They're builders. They're planners. And that means sometimes they move slower than women want them to. But when a woman shows patience, it tells him that she sees his process, she respects his timing, and she trusts him to lead at the right moment. And trust me, there is nothing more powerful to a man than a woman who trusts his timing. It makes him want to rise up quicker. It makes him want to solidify things sooner, because now he doesn't feel forced. He feels inspired. Let me give you an example. A man might be working on his career, grinding hard to get his finances straight. He knows marriage and family are on the horizon, but he doesn't want to step into that role until he's ready to provide and protect at the level he feels is right. Now, during that season, you as the woman have two choices. You can complain that it's taking too long, that you're tired of waiting, that he's wasting your time. Or you can support him, encourage him, and show him that you believe in his journey. Which one do you think earns his respect? Which one do you think passes the patience test? It's the second one. Because now he sees you as someone who's not just in it for the prize at the finish line, but someone who's committed to running the race with him. And here's another truth: patience reveals maturity. Any woman can fall in love quickly. Any woman can demand commitment right now. But not every woman has the maturity to let things develop at the right pace. When a man sees that you can handle waiting without falling apart, it tells him you're emotionally strong, you're stable, you're not desperate. And men are drawn to that strength, because when life throws challenges, he knows you won't crumble. You'll stand firm. Sometimes the patience test also comes in the form of distance. A man might get busy. He might pull back a little to focus on himself. And in that moment, he's seeing how you react. Do you immediately assume the worst? Do you lash out, accuse him, blow up his phone, act like he's abandoning you? Or do you stay calm, give him space, and trust that he'll return? That right there is patience. And trust me, when he comes back and sees you didn't panic, you didn't overreact, you didn't lose faith, that makes you shine in his eyes. Now, I know some women hear this and think, so I just have to sit and wait around for a man forever? No, baby, that's not what I'm saying. Patience is balance. If a man is truly serious, his actions will show it. He will give you consistency. He will communicate. He will show effort. If he's not doing any of that, then you're not being patient. You're being strung along. And that's a whole different story. But when a real man is showing up for you, when he's investing time, energy, love, but just moving slower toward commitment, that's when patience matters. That's when you have to pass the test. The patience test is about more than time. It's about faith. Faith that this man is building something with you, even if it's not fully visible yet. Faith that the seeds he's planting are going to bloom when the season is right. Faith that you don't have to rush destiny, because what's meant for you will come if you stay solid. That kind of patience is rare, and that's why it's a test. Because let's be honest, anybody can love in a rush, but real love is steady. It's built day by day. And a man who sees that you're not trying to skip steps, who sees that you're willing to let things unfold naturally, that's the woman he's going to give everything to. Because in his mind, you didn't just pass the patience test. You proved that you're in it for the long haul, no matter how long it takes to get there. One of the biggest things a man pays attention to when he's thinking about building a future with a woman is her character. And when I say character, I don't mean how pretty you are, how good you look on Instagram, or how well you can dress. I mean the kind of person you are when nobody's watching, when there's nothing to gain, when you're faced with choices that show your true heart. Men watch that. They may not always say it, but they're paying close attention, because deep down, a man knows beauty will fade, excitement will cool down, but character is what keeps a relationship alive for the long run. A man will observe how you treat other people, not just him. He'll pay attention to how you talk to the waiter at a restaurant, how you treat the cashier at the store, how you handle somebody who can't do anything for you. If you're rude, dismissive, or arrogant to those people, trust me, he's noticing. Because in his mind, he's asking, if she can treat them like that, how long before she treats me the same way? But if he sees kindness, respect, humility, if he sees you treating people with dignity no matter their position, he starts to realize that's your true nature. And that's the kind of nature a man can build a life with. Character also shows up in honesty. Every man knows relationships are built on trust. He doesn't expect you to be perfect, but he expects you to be real. When you say you'll do something, do you keep your word? When you make a mistake, do you own it, or do you cover it up with lies? A man will test this without even realizing it. He'll ask you questions, he'll watch how you answer, and he'll see if your actions match your words. Because to him, a woman with strong character is someone he can trust with his heart, his secrets, and his future. And let me tell you something else about character. It shines brightest in conflict. Anybody can be sweet and polite when everything's going well. But when you're angry, when you're frustrated, when you feel disrespected, how do you act then? Do you lose control, say the cruelest things, hit below the belt? Or do you stand firm, express your feelings, but still show respect? Men notice that. They may not say a word, but they record every reaction. Because conflict is inevitable in life. He wants to know if your character can hold steady in the storm. If every disagreement turns into an explosion, he'll see that as a red flag. But if you can disagree without demeaning him, argue without destroying him, that tells him your character is solid. Men also test character through responsibility. He'll notice if you're careless with money, careless with time, careless with people's feelings. Because to him, a woman who's irresponsible in the small things can't be trusted with the big things. If he sees you blowing money recklessly, talking behind people's backs, making promises you never keep, he won't ignore it. He may not confront you right away, but he'll log it in his mind, and it will affect how far he's willing to go with you. On the other hand, if he sees that you carry yourself with discipline, that you respect commitments, that you don't play with people's emotions, he'll start to see you as someone who has the character to build a stable home. Let's not forget loyalty falls under character too. Loyalty is not just about not cheating. It's about being consistent with your energy. Do you stay the same when his back is turned, or do you switch up depending on who's around? Do you protect his name when he's not in the room? Or do you let people speak against him without defending him? That's character. A man may not always be there to see it, but life has a way of revealing what people do in the dark. And when your character proves that you're the same in private as you are in public, that's when a man feels safe enough to trust you completely. Character also shows in generosity. A man will watch how giving you are, not just with money, but with your time, your effort, your compassion. If you're selfish, always thinking about yourself, never willing to sacrifice, he notices. Because relationships are built on giving, not just taking. But when he sees you naturally extend kindness, naturally give without expecting something in return, it touches him. It makes him want to give back to you 10 times more. And don't think men don't notice integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing even when it's hard. It's sticking to your values even when nobody is checking. For example, if you say you believe in honesty, but he sees you lying to your friends, or if you say you respect people, but he sees you gossiping about them, he'll question if that integrity is real. But when he sees you stand on your values, even when it costs you, even when it's inconvenient, he knows you're solid. And that, more than anything, makes him feel secure in choosing you. Now let's talk about patience and forgiveness, because those are part of character too. Nobody's perfect. Men mess up, they make mistakes, they fall short. The question is, do you hold those mistakes over his head forever, or do you show grace and give him room to grow? A man who's looking at your character is paying attention to that. He knows he's not flawless, but he needs to know if you're the type of woman who can forgive, who can help him become better instead of tearing him down. That doesn't mean tolerating disrespect or letting him walk all over you, but it does mean showing that you understand the difference between a man who's trying and a man who's playing. Strong character can tell the difference. And here's something important. Character is what makes a man feel safe with you. Yes, men need respect, loyalty, patience, but character ties it all together. When he sees good character, he sees peace. He knows he doesn't have to look over his shoulder, doesn't have to worry about being betrayed, doesn't have to question your intentions. He can focus on building because he knows the woman beside him is steady. And men crave that kind of safety, even if they never say it out loud. You know what really seals the deal for men? Consistency. Character is not about one-time actions, it's about patterns. Anybody can act right for a little while. Anybody can pretend to be kind, respectful, loyal, patient. But over time, your true character will come out. That's why men don't rush to commit. They're watching for consistency. They want to see if you're the same 6 months in as you were on day one. They want to see if your kindness, your honesty, your integrity hold up over time. And when they see that it does, that's when they know you're the real thing. So when a man is testing your character, it's not about trying to catch you slipping. It's about making sure his heart is safe with you. Because love without character doesn't last. Passion without character fades. But when a woman's character is solid, everything else, respect, loyalty, patience, naturally flows out of that. And that's when a man says, this is her. This is the one.